The Vraxian ultimatum hung in the air like a toxic cloud. In mission control, Director Rice clutched the edge of her console, knuckles white. 30 years of preparing for this moment, and now it had arrived without warning. The massive alien warships loomed on every display, their hulls bristling with weapons Earth's public defense systems couldn't hope to match. "How long until they expect our response?" she asked, voice steady despite the circumstances. Their message included a countdown. 3 hours, 17 minutes remaining, replied Communications Officer Patel. His fingers danced across holographic interfaces, analyzing the alien transmission patterns. Their language structure suggests impatience. They genuinely believe we're stalling out of fear. Reyes allowed herself a thin smile. Let them think that. Outside the secure bunker, the world reacted with predictable chaos. News feeds showed panicked crowds in major cities, emergency services overwhelmed, and world leaders making desperate appeals for calm. Military units around the globe mobilized in a show of defiance that would look hopelessly inadequate to Vraxian observers. It was all according to plan. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Yamamoto activated his quantum-encrypted communication line. "Status report on Ghost Fleet assets," he commanded. His tactical display illuminated with green confirmation lights from across the solar system. Hidden shipyards on the dark side of the moon reported ready. Stealth platforms embedded in the asteroid belt showed optimal conditions. The underwater construction facilities beneath the Mariana Trench confirmed final launch preparations. "Sir," his executive officer reported, "the Chimera battle group signals ready. Captain Chen reports all systems operational and crew at full combat readiness." Yamamoto nodded. "And our special package?" "The Prometheus protocol is armed and synchronized across all vessels. If the Vraxians attempt planetary bombardment, we can neutralize their weapons before they clear their launch tubes." Deep in lunar orbit, Supreme Commander Kraz Talon observed Earth's feeble defensive measures with contempt. His lieutenant presented real-time intelligence showing military aircraft scrambling, missile silos opening, and primitive orbital platforms adjusting position. "Pathetic," Kraz Talon rumbled, his scaled skin shifting from blue to a confident purple. "These humans build beautiful cities just to surrender them. We expected more from a species that managed rudimentary space travel." "Commander," his science officer interjected, "there's something unusual about their response pattern. Our cultural analysis predicted immediate capitulation or emotional pleas. This measured acknowledgement doesn't match any behavioral models." Kraz Talon dismissed the concern with a gesture. "They've simply accepted their inevitable defeat. Prepare the demonstration strike. Manhattan Island will serve as an effective example." As targeting systems locked onto New York City, an ensign approached nervously. "Commander, our deep space sensors are detecting unusual energy fluctuations throughout the system. They appear and vanish too quickly for positive identification." "Solar radiation interference," Kraz Talon replied dismissively. "This primitive star system is known for its instability." In her secure office beneath Geneva, Director Rice opened a classified communication channel to all world governments. Her message was brief. "Operation Thunderstrike is now active. Maintain civilian evacuation protocols. The Ghost Fleet launches in 15 minutes." As the Vraxian countdown ticked toward zero, humanity's greatest secret prepared to reveal itself. The coming dawn would introduce their would-be conquerors to a truth no alien intelligence had anticipated. Earth was never the vulnerable prize they imagined. It was a carefully disguised fortress, waiting for someone to test its defenses. Admiral Yamamoto stood before the holographic war table as countdown timers reached zero. Throughout the solar system, concealed bay doors slid open. Massive underground silos beneath the lunar surface powered up. Asteroid fragments that had appeared inert for decades split apart to reveal the warships hidden within. "Ghost Fleet, you are cleared for emergence," he ordered. "Execute deployment pattern Hydra." In the command chair of the EDS Chimera, Captain Sarah Chen felt the deck vibrate as the flagship's quantum engines engage. For 15 years, she had trained her crew for this moment. The massive vessel, nearly half a kilometer long, disengaged its camouflage systems as it rose from beneath the Pacific Ocean. "Weapons status," she demanded, her voice calm despite the historical significance of the moment. "Particle lances charged, graviton missiles armed, shield generators at maximum output," her tactical officer reported. "All systems nominal." Chen nodded. "Navigation, execute jump sequence. Bring us into position behind the Vraxian command vessel." The chimera vanished in a flash of blue light, the ocean rushing to fill the void where the massive warship had been. Throughout the solar system, 93 other vessels followed suit. Humanity's Ghost Fleet, constructed in absolute secrecy, revealed itself in a synchronized deployment designed to achieve maximum psychological impact. On the Vraxian command ship, alarms screamed as sensors detected multiple capital-class vessels materializing at strategic points throughout the system. Supreme Commander Kraz Talon's scales flashed from confident purple to alarmed crimson. "Impossible," he roared as the tactical display showed Earth vessels appearing less than 10 kilometers behind his command ship. Where did they hide such a fleet? His question went unanswered as the first salvo from Earth's ships struck with devastating precision. Graviton missiles, technology the Vraxians had believed beyond human capability, phased through standard shields and detonated against hull plating. "Evasive maneuvers," Kraz Talon ordered. "Return fire on all targets." But the human vessels vanished again, micro-jumping to new positions faster than Vraxian targeting systems could lock on. The battle doctrine that had conquered 17 star systems proved useless against enemies who refused to follow conventional tactics. In the command center beneath the Pacific, Admiral Yamamoto watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. 30 years of preparation, trillions in secret funding, and technologies reverse-engineered from recovered alien craft had led to this moment. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "Director Rice is requesting a status update." Yamamoto activated the secure channel. "The Ghost Fleet has engaged. Initial strikes are highly effective. The Vraxians are disorganized and struggling to mount an effective defense." On his display, he watched as Captain Chen's chimera executed a perfect flanking maneuver, particle lances slicing through a Vraxian cruiser's engines. The disabled vessel drifted helplessly, its weapon systems offline. "Excellent," Rice replied. "Ground teams are deploying now. Phase 2 is active." Across Earth, concealed military units emerged from hidden bunkers. What appeared to be ordinary buildings transformed as panels slid away to reveal defense platforms. In major cities, civilians watched in awe as skyscrapers reconfigured, sections rotating to expose massive cannons aimed skyward. The Vraxians had expected to find a vulnerable world ripe for conquest. Instead, they had stumbled into the most elaborate trap in military history, a planet that had spent 3 decades preparing for this exact moment, turning itself into a fortress while maintaining the perfect illusion of vulnerability. The Vraxian fleet scattered across the solar system, abandoning formation as Earth's warships executed attack patterns unlike anything in known space combat doctrine. Captain Chen's chimera led the assault against the Vraxian flagship, its advanced propulsion system allowing it to appear and disappear from Vraxian sensors in rapid succession. Pattern Echo 7. Chen ordered as her bridge crew responded with practiced efficiency. Execute microjumps at 5-second intervals. Target their primary weapon nodes and communication arrays. The massive Earth vessel blinked out of existence, reappearing moments later at the Vraxian ship's vulnerable stern. Particle lances lashed out, cutting through armor plating with surgical precision. "Direct hit on their main propulsion," reported Lieutenant Park from the tactical station. "Their engines are showing critical instability." Chen nodded. "Transmit targeting data to strike groups Avalon and Osiris. I want synchronized attacks on all primary Vraxian vessels." Throughout the system, Earth ships coordinated with a battle network that processed tactical information faster than the Vraxians could react. The alien invaders found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn, their centuries-old combat protocols useless against humanity's unpredictable assault patterns. Aboard his flagship, Supreme Commander Kraz Talon watched in mounting horror as his fleet status indicators shifted from green to amber to red. 3 cruisers had already been disabled, and his primary battle group was scattered. "How is this possible?" he demanded, slamming a scaled fist against his command console. "These humans were supposed to be defenseless. Our intelligence indicated minimal military capability." His intelligence officer trembled. "Commander, it appears we were deliberately missiled. Analysis suggests the humans have been presenting a false technological profile for decades. Their public space program and defensive systems were merely a facade." "Impossible. No species would sacrifice technological advancement for deception." The tactical display flickered as another Vraxian vessel went dark, its power core disabled by precisely targeted Earth weapons. "Multiple ground-based weapons now targeting our ships," reported the sensor officer. "Detecting energy signatures consistent with ion displacement technology. Our shields cannot withstand sustained bombardment from such weapons." Kraz Talon's scales darkened with rage. "Launch landing craft immediately. We will seize their major command centers and force surrender." As Vraxian Drak ships descended toward Earth's surface, Major Darius Jackson activated the ground phase of humanity's defense plan. From his command post beneath Mount Rainier, he coordinated a global response to the alien landing attempts. "All defensive sectors. This is Bastion Command." He broadcast on the encrypted Earth Defense Network. "Visitors have arrived at our doorstep. Deploy Sentinel protocols immediately." Across the globe, what appeared to be ordinary infrastructure transformed. Highway overpasses pivoted to reveal anti-aircraft batteries. Public parks opened to deploy missile systems hidden beneath false terrain. Office buildings shed their facades, exposing weapon emplacements integrated into their structures. In New York, a Vraxian landing craft approached Central Park, its sensors identifying the open space as an ideal deployment zone. As it descended below the skyscraper line, concealed quantum disruptors activated. The alien vessel's navigation systems failed catastrophically, sending it crashing into the East River rather than the planned landing zone. Similar scenarios played out globally. In Tokyo, Moscow, Cairo, and dozens of other cities, Vraxian forces found themselves ambushed by defenses that simply hadn't existed on their reconnaissance scans. Back in orbit, Captain Chen's Chimera executed a daring maneuver, passing directly through the debris field of a destroyed Vraxian cruiser. The move confused enemy targeting systems just long enough for her to position her ship directly above Kraz Talon's command vessel. "All weapons, focus fire on their bridge section," she ordered. "Communications, prepare to broadcast on their emergency frequencies." The Chimera's main batteries unleashed a coordinated barrage that overloaded the Vraxian flagship's forward shields. As alarms blared on the alien bridge, Chen's face appeared on their communication screens. "Supreme Commander Kraz Talon," she said, her voice calm and measured. "Your assault on Earth has failed. Your landing forces are being eliminated. Your fleet is in disarray. I offer you one opportunity to preserve the lives of your remaining forces." On his damaged bridge, Kraz Talon snarled at the human's image. "You dare dictate terms to the Vraxian Dominion?" "I dare because I can destroy your command ship with my next salvo," Chen replied evenly. "Look around you, Commander. Your intelligence was flawed. Earth is not the primitive world you believed it to be." As if to emphasize her point, 3 more Earth warships materialized around the Vraxian flagship, their weapon systems glowing with charged energy. "We will withdraw temporarily," Kraz Talon conceded, his scales flushing with the blue-black color of humiliation. "But know this, human. The full might of the Vraxian Dominion will answer this insult. What you have faced today is merely an expeditionary force." Chen's expression remained impassive. "We look forward to meeting them as well. You have 1 hour to recall your remaining forces and exit our solar system. After that, we will consider any Vraxian presence an act of continued aggression." As the communication ended, Admiral Yamamoto contacted Chen on a secure channel. "Well done, Captain, but prepare your battle group for the real challenge. Our long-range sensors have detected a much larger Vraxian fleet approaching from the direction of Ta City." It seems the commander wasn't bluffing about reinforcements. Chen nodded grimly. "The Ghost Fleet was built for this moment, Admiral. We've bloodied their nose. Now we prepare for the true test." Lieutenant Commander Marcus Rodriguez piloted his stealth interceptor through the rings of Saturn, ice particles glittering against his viewport. Behind him, 11 other craft from Phantom Squadron maintained perfect formation, their advanced cloaking systems rendering them nearly invisible even to each other. Only the tactical overlay on his helmet display revealed their positions. "Phantom lead to all units," he said quietly into his comm. "Vraxian hunter-killers approaching Sector 7. Remember, these aren't the standard combat units we faced earlier. These are their elite trackers." The data from Earth intelligence had been clear. After the humiliating first encounter, Supreme Commander Kraz Talon had deployed his specialized hunting units, pilots selected for intuitive thinking rather than adherence to standard Vraxian battle doctrine. These hunter-killers had earned their reputation by tracking down and eliminating guerrilla forces across 3 star systems. "They're scanning the ice field with gravimetric sensors," reported his second-in-command, Lieutenant Wei. "Standard cloaking won't hold if they get within 5 kilometers." Rodriguez smiled grimly. "Then we don't let them get that close. Execute Operation Hydra's Teeth." The squadron split into 4 triads, each taking position behind larger ice fragments. The battle plan wasn't complex, but it exploited a fundamental difference between human and Vraxian psychology. The aliens approached combat as an exercise in perfect efficiency, each move calculated for maximum effect with minimum risk. Humans, particularly Rodriguez and his squadron of former combat pilots, approached it as a deadly game of misdirection. The Vraxian hunter-killer squadron emerged from Saturn's shadow, 18 sleek vessels arranged in a 3-dimensional search pattern. Their sensor beams swept methodically through the ice field, searching for anomalies that might betray the human ships. Phantom 3 and 7. "Execute distraction protocol," Rodriguez ordered. 2 Earth fighters activated specialized devices that projected false energy signatures a kilometer from their actual positions. The Vraxian response was immediate. 6 hunter craft broke formation to investigate the anomalies, exactly as predicted. "Now," Rodriguez commanded. Phantom Squadron struck from multiple vectors simultaneously. Rodriguez's fighter accelerated from behind an ice fragment, targeting systems locked on the lead Vraxian vessel. His particle cannons fired in rapid succession, striking the alien craft before its shields could fully engage. 2 more Vraxian hunters exploded as other Phantom fighters executed similar surprise attacks. The remaining Vraxian craft responded with disciplined precision, but Rodriguez's squadron was already implementing the second phase of their strategy. Instead of engaging directly, the Earth fighters executed a complex series of micro-jumps between the densest parts of Saturn's rings, using the ice debris as both cover and confusion. "They're adapting to our patterns," Wei warned as a Vraxian energy beam narrowly missed her fighter. "Their targeting algorithms are learning our evasion sequences." Rodriguez had anticipated this. All units switched to chaos protocols. No more predictable patterns. This was where human intuition gave them the edge. Each pilot began flying based on instinct rather than pre-programmed maneuvers, creating attack patterns too random for Vraxian targeting systems to predict. The hunter-killers, despite their elite status, found themselves unable to establish firing solutions against enemies who refused to follow logical combat progressions. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Director Reyes supervised the analysis of captured Vraxian technology. In her laboratory beneath the Geneva complex, scientists had disassembled components from a downed alien shuttle. "The neural interface is the key," explained Dr. Hassan, her chief xenotechnology specialist. "The Vraxians link directly to their ships through these synaptic connectors. It creates faster response times, but also introduces a vulnerability. Ray studied the alien device. What kind of vulnerability? Their nervous systems process sensory data differently than ours. Our tests indicate they're hypersensitive to specific harmonic frequencies that barely register to human perception. Hassan activated a small device that emitted an inaudible pulse. On their monitoring equipment, the captured Vraxian technology immediately experienced disrupted data flow. Can we weaponize this? Rise asked, already seeing the potential. Hassan nodded. We're calling it the Banshee device. Deployed near Vraxian ships or ground forces, it would create the equivalent of extreme vertigo and sensory confusion without affecting human personnel. Reyes immediately contacted Admiral Yamamoto. We have a new countermeasure against the Vraxian forces. Priority deployment to all frontline units. In the Saturn engagement, the tide had turned against Rodriguez's squadron. Despite their innovative tactics, the hunter-killers had managed to disable 3 Phantom fighters. The remaining Earth craft were running low on both energy and options. We've lost Phantoms 5, 8, and 10, Wei reported, her voice tight. Our shields are below 30%, and they've cut off our retreat vectors. Rodriguez studied his tactical display, looking for any advantage. All remaining units converge on my position. We make our stand at the Cassini division. As the Earth fighters regrouped in the largest gap in Saturn's rings, a priority transmission came through from Admiral Yamamoto. Phantom Squadron, hold position. Reinforcements are inbound with new countermeasures. The Banshee devices will reach you in 7 minutes. Rodriguez allowed himself a small smile. Understood, Command. We'll give these hunters something to chase for 7 more minutes. As his fighters engaged in a desperate holding action, the Vraxian hunter-killers closed in for what they believed would be a final victory. They had no way of knowing that the rules of engagement were about to change dramatically, or that their greatest advantage, their direct neural connection to their ships, was about to become their most critical vulnerability. Admiral Yamamoto studied the holographic display showing the approaching Vraxian reinforcements. The alien armada dwarfed the initial invasion force, with over 200 warships arranged in perfect battle formation. Long-range sensors indicated they would reach Earth orbit within 36 hours. We can't win a direct confrontation against a force that size, he admitted to his gathered command staff. Even with the Ghost Fleet at full deployment and the Banshee devices distributed, we're outnumbered 3-1. Captain Chen, attending via secure holographic link from the Chimera, nodded in agreement. Conventional tactics won't work here. We need to change the parameters of engagement. Exactly, Yamamoto replied. Which is why we're implementing the Swarm Symphony protocol effective immediately. The tactical display shifted to show hundreds of smaller signatures, autonomous drone ships that had been hidden throughout the asteroid belt and beneath the surface of Mars. Each drone was approximately 1/5 the size of a standard fighter, but carried sophisticated electronic warfare capabilities and minimized weapon systems. These drones operate on a collective neural network, explained Chief Engineer Nakamura. But unlike traditional drone swarms, each unit contains randomization algorithms designed to make their attack patterns completely unpredictable, even to each other. Chen raised an eyebrow. That sounds potentially chaotic. Chaos is precisely what we're counting on, Yamamoto confirmed. The Vraxians excel at countering organized, logical battle strategies. Their entire military doctrine is built on identifying patterns and exploiting them, but they struggle against what they perceive as irrational behavior. On Earth, Major Jackson coordinated the deployment of ground-based countermeasures. The Mimic tanks represented humanity's latest innovation in adaptive warfare. These vehicles could adjust their electromagnetic signatures to appear as civilian transport one moment and deadly weapon platforms the next. Deploy Mimic squads to these 12 urban centers, Jackson ordered, highlighting locations on the global map. Vraxian landing forces will target population centers first. We need to be ready when they arrive. His second-in-command, Captain Rodriguez, reviewed the deployment schedule. Sir, the civilian evacuation is only 60% complete in Sectors 4 and 7. If we engage there, the evacuation continues as planned. Jackson interrupted. But we can't wait for completion. Intelligence suggests the Vraxian reinforcements have modified their ships for atmospheric operations. They won't make the same mistakes as the first wave. In lunar orbit, Supreme Commander Kraz Talon welcomed the arrival of the advanced scout ships from the main Vraxian fleet. His position had become precarious after the embarrassing initial defeat, but the arrival of Fleet Lord Mevzalon, his direct superior and longtime rival, offered a chance at redemption. The humans have revealed their hidden defenses, Kraz Talon reported, trying to maintain dignity despite his earlier failure. Their technology is more advanced than our intelligence suggested, but now that we understand their capabilities, your incompetence has cost the Dominion 12 warships and exposed our tactical weaknesses. Fleet Lord Mevzalon interrupted, his scales shifting to a dangerous crimson. Your command is hereby suspended pending review. Kraz Talon's protests died in his throat as the Fleet Lord continued. These humans have demonstrated unexpected resourcefulness. Rather than continuing your flawed approach, we will implement appropriate countermeasures. The Fleet Lord turned to his tactical officers. The human vessels rely on these micro-jump maneuvers to evade our targeting systems. Deploy gravity anchor buoys throughout their system. Create zones where their quantum drives cannot function. As the Vraxian fleet prepared their new strategy, Captain Chen and her tactical team developed the Swarm Symphony approach. The autonomous drone ships were programmed with thousands of combat scenarios, but given specific instructions to never repeat the same approach twice. The key is unpredictability, Chen explained to her squadron commanders. The drones will create a constantly shifting battlefield that confuses Vraxian targeting systems, while our capital ships deliver the decisive strikes. Rodriguez, having returned from the Saturn engagement, raised a concern. The drones' randomized patterns could potentially endanger our own vessels. Chen nodded. That's why we're implementing quantum entanglement tags on all Earth ships. The drones will recognize our energy signatures as friendly regardless of their chaotic movements. Meanwhile, Commander Kraz Talon, desperate to regain favor, made a fateful decision. Without authorization, he ordered his remaining ships to concentrate for an immediate assault on Earth's moon base, the most visible human military installation in the system. The humans have overextended their forces, he told his loyal officers. Their ghost fleet is scattered throughout the system. This is our opportunity to secure a decisive victory. What Kraz Talon didn't realize was that Earth's commanders had anticipated this exact scenario. The moon base's apparent vulnerability was a carefully crafted illusion, designed to draw the Vraxians into committing to a concentrated attack. As the Vraxian battle group approached lunar orbit, Admiral Yamamoto contacted Captain Chen. The enemy has taken the bait. Operation Checkmate is now active. Move your battle group into position, but maintain stealth protocols until my signal. Chen acknowledged the order, her expression grim but determined. Understood, Admiral. The Chimera and Strike Group Alpha are moving to intercept coordinates. Trap elements are in position and awaiting activation. The most decisive engagement of the conflict was about to begin, with both sides employing radically different approaches to warfare. The methodical, pattern-based Vraxian doctrine was about to collide with humanity's embrace of controlled chaos, a battle philosophy no alien species had encountered before. Captain Chen moved silently through the maintenance corridors of the captured Vraxian shuttle, leading her infiltration team toward the command deck of the massive Vraxian flagship. Their mission was audacious, perhaps even foolhardy, but potentially game-changing. Intelligence gathered from the initial battles had revealed a critical vulnerability in Vraxian communication protocols that might allow a small team to access their central command network. "Security patrol approaching," whispered Lieutenant Diaz, monitoring the advanced sensor package strapped to his forearm. 2 guards, standard rotation. Chen signaled for the team to hold position in a recessed alcove. Thanks to adaptive camouflage suits reverse-engineered from Vraxian technology, they were virtually invisible as long as they remained motionless. The alien guards passed within meters, their scaled skin shifting in patterns that indicated alertness but not suspicion. "We have 14 minutes before the next patrol," Chen said once the guards had moved on. "Engineering section is 3 junctions ahead." The infiltration team wasn't aboard to destroy the Vraxian command ship. That would be impossible with their limited equipment. Their mission was far more valuable: accessing the aliens' secure database to gather intelligence on their entire command structure, communication protocols, and most importantly, the coordinates of their supply lines and homeworld. Meanwhile, Director Rice worked with her team to finalize Earth's most audacious countermove. Using the quantum-entangled communication array beneath Geneva, they prepared to bypass Kraz Talon entirely and send a message directly to the Vraxian Sovereign Council. "The signal must be precisely formatted," explained senior cryptologist Martinez. "We've analyzed their communication protocols from captured data cores. Their authentication systems are extremely sophisticated, but they have one weakness: they prioritize source verification over content authentication." Reyes nodded. "So we can make it appear as though the message is coming from within their own hierarchy." "Exactly. We'll route it through the quantum nodes we've planted on their auxiliary vessels. The Council will believe they're receiving a priority communication from their own intelligence division." The message they were preparing contained 3 critical components: evidence that Commander Kraz Talon had exceeded his authority by launching the invasion without proper strategic assessment, proof that Earth possessed the coordinates of key Vraxian installations including their homeworld, and most audaciously, a proposal for direct negotiations that bypassed standard military protocols. On the Vraxian command ship, Captain Chen's team reached their objective: a secondary data terminal in the engineering section. Lieutenant Commander Park, their technology specialist, connected a sophisticated interface device to the alien computer system. "Their security algorithms are adaptive," Park muttered as her fingers danced across the holographic interface, "but not in ways we haven't anticipated." Accessing primary database now. The device began downloading massive amounts of data: star charts showing the full extent of Vraxian territory, tactical assessments of their current military deployments, and most valuable of all, their comprehensive communication protocols. "We have what we need," Chen said after confirming the download was complete. "Plant the quantum receiver and let's move to extraction point Alpha." Park nodded, attaching a tiny device to the underside of the terminal, a passive quantum receiver that would provide Earth with ongoing access to Vraxian communications. Just as they prepared to leave, an alarm blared throughout the section. "We've been detected," Diaz warned, checking his scanner. Security teams converging from multiple directions. Chen made a split-second decision. "Initiate diversion protocol. Lieutenant Park, get that data to the extraction point. The rest of us will draw their attention." While Park slipped away with the critical intelligence, Chen led the remaining team members in the opposite direction, deliberately triggering motion sensors to draw Vraxian security away from Park's escape route. In orbit around Earth's moon, Commander Kraz Talon prepared his forces for what he believed would be a decisive strike against the humans' lunar base. His remaining fleet had assembled in tight formation, weapons charged and targeting systems locked on the facility's apparent weak points. "Begin the assault," he ordered, desperate to redeem himself before the arrival of the main Vraxian fleet. Concentrated fire on their defensive shield generators. The first volley of Vraxian energy weapons streaked toward the lunar base and passed straight through it. "Commander," his sensor officer called out in alarm. "The base it's not there. Our sensors detect only a holographic projection." Before Kraz Talon could process this information, space around his fleet seemed to ripple as dozens of Earth vessels suddenly appeared, their cloaking systems deactivated. The Vraxian ships had been lured into perfect firing position. "All Earth vessels, this is Admiral Yamamoto," came the transmission across all frequencies. "Execute Operation Checkmate." The Earth ships opened fire simultaneously, their weapons specifically targeting the Vraxian vessel's propulsion and weapon systems, rather than attempting to destroy them outright. The precision of the attack was devastating. Within minutes, Krastelon's entire battle group was effectively disabled, unable to maneuver or return fire, but with life support systems deliberately left intact. As alarms blared across his command deck, Krastelon received an unexpected communication, not from the human forces, but from the Vraxian Sovereign Council itself. The message was brief but devastating. Commander Krastelon, you are hereby relieved of all command authority. Stand down all forces immediately and prepare to receive Arbiter Mevron, who will assess the situation and open direct negotiations with the human leadership. The commander stared at the message in disbelief. Somehow, the humans had managed to contact his superiors directly. The carefully constructed chain of command that had served the Vraxian Dominion for millennia had been circumvented by these unpredictable creatures in a matter of days. The diplomatic vessel Vraxian Truthseeker entered Earth orbit with minimal escort, its ornate design contrasting sharply with the utilitarian warships that had preceded it. Aboard this vessel was Senior Arbiter Mevron, one of the most respected members of the Vraxian Sovereign Council, and a figure known throughout their empire for wisdom, rather than martial prowess. Director Rice led Earth's delegation to the designated meeting ground, the neutral territory of Europa Station, a research outpost built into the ice of Jupiter's moon. The location had been carefully selected to demonstrate humanity's reach throughout the solar system, while providing security for both parties. Admiral Yamamoto accompanied her, along with a small team of xenobiologists, linguists, and military advisors. Captain Chen, recently returned from her daring infiltration mission, stood slightly behind the admiral, her expression revealing nothing of the ordeal she had endured to escape the Vraxian flagship. Remember, Rise briefed her team as they prepared for first contact. We possess significant intelligence advantages thanks to Captain Chen's mission. We know more about their cultural protocols than they realize. Use this judiciously. We want negotiations, not humiliation. The meeting chamber had been designed with both human and Vraxian physiology in mind. The temperature was set slightly higher than human preference, but lower than Vraxian standard. The lighting balanced between Earth's yellow-white sunlight and the amber-red illumination of the Vraxian homeworld. When Senior Arbiter Mevran entered, flanked by his advisors, the humans were struck by his appearance. Unlike the military Vraxians they had encountered, Mevran's scales displayed complex patterns of gold and deep blue, with elaborate markings that denoted his high status. His movements were deliberate and graceful, conveying authority without aggression. Director Elena Reyes, he began, speaking perfect English to the surprise of the Earth delegation. The Sovereign Council acknowledges the unique circumstances of our encounter. I am authorized to conduct these negotiations with full authority. Reyes nodded respectfully. Senior Arbiter Mevron, Earth welcomes this opportunity for peaceful dialogue. We regret the circumstances that made our first interaction so contentious. What followed was a revelation that shocked the human delegation. The Vraxian Empire, despite its apparent military might, faced an existential threat that they had kept hidden from the galactic community. A mysterious force known as the Shroud had been systematically eliminating entire star systems at the outer reaches of Vraxian territory. The Shroud defies conventional understanding, Mevron explained, activating a holographic display showing the inexorable advance of this threat. It absorbs energy, matter, and information. Conventional weapons prove useless against it. Each encounter has resulted in the loss of Vraxian worlds and fleets. Admiral Yamamoto studied the tactical data with growing concern. These engagement patterns show a force that adapts to your defense strategies. Each time you deploy a new countermeasure, the Shroud evolves to neutralize it. Precisely, the Arbiter confirmed. Commander Krastalon's unauthorized assault on your world was born of desperation. He believed Earth's resources could provide materials for our continued defense against the Shroud. A resource acquisition mission disguised as territorial expansion, Rise observed. Yes, though his methods were neither authorized nor condoned, Mevran replied. The Council originally designated your system for diplomatic contact only after our long-range observations revealed unusual technological advancements. Captain Chen stepped forward. Your intelligence on our capabilities was significantly flawed. Indeed, the Arbiter acknowledged with a gesture that conveyed respect in Vraxian culture. Your species' ability to conceal your true technological level was unprecedented in our experience. Most civilizations we encounter display their achievements openly. Admiral Yamamoto seized the opportunity this revelation presented. Perhaps this indicates our species have complementary approaches to problem-solving. Your dominion clearly excels at direct application of power and organized hierarchy. Earth has developed different specialties: adaptation, misdirection, and unconventional strategy. Rise recognized where Yamamoto was leading the conversation. Senior Arbiter, we believe we face a common threat. The astronomical data we've gathered suggests the Shroud may eventually reach our system as well. Rather than fighting each other for resources, we propose a different approach. She activated Earth's own holographic display, showing detailed simulations based on the data Chen's team had recovered. These are projections of how combined Earth-Braxian defense strategies might perform against the Shroud. Our tactical innovations paired with your technological frameworks show promising results. Mevran studied the simulations with intense interest, his scales shifting to patterns indicating deep contemplation. This approach is unorthodox by Vraxian standards. Our military doctrine has remained essentially unchanged for millennia, which may explain why the Shroud has been able to adapt to your defenses so effectively, Chen pointed out. It's never encountered human unpredictability. The Arbiter remained silent for several moments, then made a decision that would alter the course of both civilizations. I will present your proposal to the Sovereign Council with my recommendation for formal alliance. The Vraxian Dominion has never before considered humans as equals, but circumstances, and your evident capabilities, suggest this may be our wisest course. As the formal agreement took shape, Reyes caught Admiral Yamamoto's eye across the chamber. They had achieved what seemed impossible just days earlier, transforming a potential conqueror into an ally through a combination of military resistance and diplomatic insight. But both knew that the real challenge lay ahead. The Shroud was approaching, and this unlikely partnership would soon face its ultimate test. 2 years transformed the solar system. Where once Earth stood alone, now a combined defense force of human and Vraxian vessels maintained vigilant watch at the system's edge. The massive combined fleet represented something unprecedented in galactic history, a true integration of wildly different military philosophies. Admiral Sarah Chen, promoted after her daring infiltration mission, stood on the bridge of the EDS Nova Dawn. The flagship represented the pinnacle of joint human-Vraxian engineering, a vessel nearly twice the size of the Chimera with capabilities neither species could have developed alone. Its quantum-fold drive incorporated Vraxian precision with human intuitive navigation systems. Its weapons combined Earth's unpredictable targeting algorithms with Vraxian power generation technology. Status report, Chen requested, surveying her mixed crew of humans and Vraxians working in perfect coordination. All defense platforms report optimal readiness, replied her Vraxian executive officer, Sub-Commander Trelvax. The perimeter sensor grid detects the Shroud's approach exactly as predicted. Estimated arrival in 23 minutes. Chen nodded, studying the tactical display. The defense strategy they had developed was unlike anything previously attempted against the Shroud. Where Vraxian commanders had previously deployed orderly, predictable formations that the entity easily adapted to, the combined fleet was arranged in what appeared to be random clusters. Each group operated semi-autonomously, following a strategy that incorporated controlled chaos rather than rigid doctrine. Signal from Earth Command, announced Communications Officer Garcia. Director Reyes wishes to address the fleet. Reyes's image appeared on the main view screen. 2 years of working with the Vraxians had changed her as well. Her uniform now incorporated elements of Vraxian formal attire, a symbol of the unprecedented cooperation between species, defenders of Earth and the Vraxian Dominion. She began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. The enemy we face today threatens not just our individual worlds, but the very concept of life and consciousness in our galaxy. Scientific analysis confirms what we've suspected. The Shroud is not merely destroying worlds. It is consuming information itself, erasing the accumulated knowledge and culture of every civilization it encounters. Chen watched her crew's reactions. The humans straightened, determination evident in their posture. The Vraxian scales shifted to patterns indicating readiness for honor battle. This defense force represents something the Shroud has never encountered before, Rice continued. Not simply technological innovation, but the merged perspectives of two evolutionary paths, human adaptability and Vraxian precision. Where they were once able to predict responses and counter them, they now face the unpredictable. As Reyes concluded her address, long-range sensors detected the Shroud's emergence from hyperspace. The phenomenon defied easy description, a writhing darkness that seemed to absorb light and matter alike, its boundaries constantly shifting as if testing the very fabric of reality. All vessels, assume combat readiness, Chen ordered. Execute Chaos Protocol Alpha. Throughout the fleet, ships began moving in seemingly random patterns, their formations constantly shifting. The drone swarms deployed alongside capital ships, creating ever-changing defensive screens that followed no discernible logic. The strategy was built on a revolutionary concept, that true randomness could not be predicted or adapted to. The Shroud advanced, tentacles of darkness reaching toward the outer planets. As it encountered the first line of defense, it reacted as it always had, absorbing energy from weapons fire and adapting its structure to counter the attack patterns. But this time, there were no patterns to adapt to. Each ship operated independently within broad strategic parameters, their tactics continuously evolving. "It's working," Sub-Commander Trelvax observed with rare excitement. "The entity cannot establish predictive countermeasures against our defense grid." Chen nodded. "Begin Phase 2. Deploy the quantum isolation fields." This was humanity's greatest contribution to the battle. Technology that created localized bubbles, where the normal laws of physics applied regardless of the Shroud's influence. These fields prevented the entity from absorbing energy within their boundaries, allowing weapons to maintain effectiveness. The battle raged for hours, a constantly shifting dance of light against darkness. Losses mounted on both sides. 14 vessels lost, their crews sacrificing themselves to protect strategic positions. But gradually, impossibly, the Shroud began to contract rather than expand. For the first time in recorded history, the entity was being forced to retreat. "We've identified what appears to be a nexus point within the entity," reported Science Officer Nakamura. "A concentration of energy that may represent its core consciousness." Chen exchanged glances with Trelvax. "Recommend we concentrate all available firepower on that location." The Vraxian officer nodded, his scales showing a pattern Chen had learned to recognize as resolute determination. "Agreed. The Nova Dawn should lead the assault personally." Chen opened a fleet-wide channel. "All vessels, this is Admiral Chen. We have identified a potential vulnerability. Form on my position and prepare for concentrated attack on these coordinates." The combined fleet executed the maneuver with precision born of 2 years' intensive training. Human innovation and Vraxian discipline worked in perfect harmony as every available weapon locked onto the Shroud's vulnerable center. "Fire," Chen ordered simply. The coordinated barrage struck with devastating effect. For a moment, the Shroud seemed to pulse, its darkness intensifying. And then, like a star collapsing in on itself, it began to implode. The entity that had consumed entire civilizations contracted into a singularity before vanishing completely from normal space. Silence fell across the Nova Dawn's bridge, broken only by the soft beeping of monitoring systems confirming what seemed impossible. "Victory. Send word to Earth and the Vraxian homeworld. Chen ordered quietly. The shroud has been defeated. As the message was transmitted, she moved to the observation deck, staring out at the stars beyond. What had begun as an invasion, an existential threat to humanity, had transformed into something neither species could have imagined. A partnership that had saved both civilizations and perhaps the galaxy itself.